Now, I'm going to talk about two people. However, there are only one person in the room. The other person is in Sydney doing some high-level stuff, and I'm sure you'll hear about that later. But say it again. He's better looking of the two. The one is here now. Okay, so Jeff and Kane. Jeff and Kane are known internationally as being able to connect four in only 3 moves. 4 in only 3 moves. Now, I'm going to pause and let you think about that and comprehend that. Everybody got that? Okay. They have started 5 multi-million-dollar companies and are known for the saying, when life gives you lemons, make orange juice. Hey, don't laugh at me. I didn't write this. This is somebody else's, right? So just there's a pause there. All right. They have served over 60,000 coaches, consultants, speakers, authors, practitioners, kangaroos, monkeys, and rebel entrepreneurs worldwide on their business and how to position themselves as highly paid, high-profile industry rock stars. So these guys are pretty good. They are ranked among the top 1% of highly paid coaches, consultants, speakers, and trainers in the world. In fact, when Jeff was a baby, he changed his own diapers. You got that one, huh? Remember, I didn't write this stuff. They have coached executives, teams, and Fortune 500 companies and other small corporations, including Disney, Warner Brothers, Sony, Apple, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So they work with a lot of high-impact, well-paid people. And on top of that, remember on day 1 I talked about everybody needs a mentor and a coach? I work with them as well, and they've helped me to increase my bottom line. In fact, in 1 month, I almost doubled my last 6 months' previous salary. So they're pretty good. And you're supposed to clap. Wow, they're pretty good. Yeah. Oh, yeah, they're good. Remember, you're only getting one of them today, but you still, I've been told you're getting the best-looking one, but that's up for you to decide. So before I bring him to the stage, go to the video screen. I wanna be a rock star.
If you're looking to transform your life and to live your dreams, I highly recommend Jeff and Kane. Why? They believe always strive to get on top in life because it's the bottom that's overcrowded. Remember those 2 names, Jeff and Kane. They mean double dynamite.
Hey everybody, this is T. Harbecker. Jeff and Kane were just on my stage. They were fantastic. People love them.
Hey everybody, Frank Curran here. I hope I'm not too overdressed. As the highest paid internet marketing direct response consultant and copywriter in the world, I personally can't say enough good things about these fellows.
Hey guys, this is Scott Ruick, and I'm coming from Silicon Valley, California. Look, I've been doing online marketing for over a decade now. Some people call me the $100 million man. I've spent over $100 million buying advertising online. I've consulted with some of the leading experts in direct response, guys like Frank Kern, Eben Pagan, and I'll tell you, there are very few guys like Jeff and Kane that understand all the mechanics of making money online. These guys get it. They understand from customer generation to conversion to ultimately selling companies. And that's a really important thing that you need to understand.
Barbara Streisand.
I'm Bob Proctor. You've probably seen me on that runaway successful movie, The Secret. And I was working with Jeff and Kane, and the work they do is classic.
Joel Bauer here, as someone who has done this for 43 consecutive years, longer than I believe anyone in the industry today, having trained over 660 of the world's top closers, including Mark Victor Hansen and Robert Allen, Mel Emery, all over Australia and the UK and the continental contiguous United States, having written books on this process. You want to be a rock star? What that really means is you want to be understood and appreciated for who it is you are and what it is you contribute. That is what Jeff and Kane are all about. They are connected. They are connected from the heart to their audience. They care. But you need to understand that they have been mentored by the best mentors in the industry. Their education is an answer to cash flow. If you embrace their coaching, their systems, their solutions, their techniques, their process, and I'll tell you something, they make it easy.
Ladies and gentlemen, can you please be on your feet and give it up for Kane? Kane is in the house.
Thank you. Have a seat, please. Have a seat. Cool. Thank you so much. Welcome. How many of you have never heard of me before? Raise your hand. Well, we have a short-term memory problem in here because Eric just introduced me. I was teasing. Thank you very much for having me here. It's an honor and a privilege to be here and spend some time with you today. I want to thank 21st Century, and let's give Eric Bailey a hand for just being an extraordinary MC. And I also just want to acknowledge Jamie McIntyre and 21st Century, who are up to great stuff in the world. How many of you saw us at the Melbourne event, the Financial Education Summit? Okay, great, good. So they're just up to great stuff. So let's give them a hand as well, please. Great. So how many of you came here today because you wanted to learn how to build a business, grow your business, or make more money? Raise your hand if that's you. Okay, great. And raise your hand if you came here because you want to learn some new techniques to go right out and start changing the face of how you actually interact in the world and grow your business to take care of your families more. Yeah, that's you. Great, cool. How many of you came here because you thought you might meet someone and fall in love? Yeah, that's you. Put them up. There were a few hands. Put them back up. All right, just look around and see if there's anything you like. So I'm very excited to be here. It's actually only my second time on the Gold Coast. You can tell from my native Australian accent. I'm local here. It's a beautiful area. It's very exciting to be here, and I'm challenged. I'm excited because in the next 90 minutes, I want to completely change the way you do business and introduce you to the way that business is going to get done over the next 5 to 10 years. It's the way business is happening out in the world, and I want to empower you with some really cool tools so that you can go change the way you do business and be more successful. Is that okay with you? Yep. Good. Turn to your partner and say, we're going to be more successful after this. Let's try that again. Turn to your partner and say, we're going to be more successful after this. Great. So I really love an interactive audience. If I ask you a question, can I get an answer? Yes. With some real energy? Yes. Great. Do you guys like to have fun? Yes. Good. I'd love to have a lot of fun. Turn to your partner and say, we're going to have fun. Great. Now, that's why I'm excited. I'm challenged because I've got 90 minutes, and so I'm going to move quickly. Is that okay with you? Yes. Good. Turn to your partner and say, he speaks fast. Turn to your other partner and say, that's okay, baby. So before we even get started, please stand up and go meet somebody that you haven't met in the room yet, because networking is one of the most important parts of these events. Go meet somebody that you haven't met and just tell them why you're here. Let's take 30 seconds to do that right now. Go! All right, give him a big high five and say, you are a rock star. And have a seat. How many of you like free stuff? Yeah. Yes? All right. Well, listen, the first couple people up on the stage, we got 5 people up on the stage. Up. Let's go, quick. All right, stop. Okay, great. We got it good. Give him a hand. Here you go. There you go. Oh, you finally got one. That's right. So what I'm giving you is, this is a USB with about $1,000 of Jeff and my best content on how to develop more leads for your business, how to sell better, how to close at higher price points. How many of you would love to close higher price point clients? You're working way too hard and you need to be making more money? Awesome. So that's what this all is. Now, because you're up here, what's the lesson? The lesson is that those who take action get what? Get good stuff. Yes, get results. But you guys know that, right? Because you all take action. How many of you take massive action in your business? You're up every day working hard. Okay, great. So please write this down. What I'm teaching you about today, one of the most important lessons is first to market. It's first to market. Being first to market with what we're going to talk about today is essential. So because you're up here, I'm going to need your help. Is that cool? Will you help me out? Okay, good. We're going to do a little something. We're going to do a lot of exercises today. Do you guys like exercises? Yeah? Good. So, we know Jeff and I gave up a long time ago doing seminars. We now do doinars. So in this seminar, we're going to be doinars. So we're going to do stuff today. So every time we come back from a break, I'm going to need a little help to bring us back together. And we're going to do a little something like this. I'm going to do it, and then you guys are going to do it. Okay? And some of you saw us, and you know this already. It's going to go a little something like this. We're going to go, whoa, rock star. Okay? So now they're going to lead us through it, and you're going to join us. You ready? Here we go. Whoa, rock star. Awesome. Give him a hand. Thank you. Have a seat. So very quick backstory about who Jeff and I are. Jeff and I are originally from California, from San Francisco area, really from like the Silicon Valley area, in between Silicon Valley and what we call Hippieville. And when we first got to Sydney, there's a lot of sort of stereotypes about two guys coming from San Francisco. And we got into the taxi for the very first time, and big, burly man, I think you guys call them blokey blokes, all right? Turns around and says, "Where are you boys from?" I said, "San Francisco." He says, "Oh, you'll make a beautiful couple." And we came here about 7 months ago because we were invited by some promoters to come and speak about what I'm going to teach you about today, which is personal branding. So it's about what? Personal branding. Yes. So just to be clear, because people ask Jeff and I all the time, are we brothers, are we lovers, are we friends, or what are we? Jeff and I are business partners, and just to be really clear about this, Jeff lives here now, and I live here, and we moved to Manly Beach. So we live in Sydney, because it's just so beautiful, and we've had so much fun traveling around Australia. We give a training every single weekend in Australia. The reason actually Jeff's not here with me is he's leading one of our coaches certification trainings, where we teach people how to become highly paid coaches and consultants. So how many of you notice that the world of business has completely changed? Yeah, the way things are getting done now, totally different. You probably notice your marketing dollars are not going as far. It's harder to get the same attention. Email is super oversaturated. Anybody know that one? Yeah, marketing online it's a whole new game these days. I mean, the whole world has changed how it's doing business. This guy's probably making more money than all of us. And I have a 2.5-year-old son. This is the alphabet I've started teaching him. Because at 1.5 years, he was able to start using my iPhone. Literally, the under 25-year-old generation is the most entrepreneurial generation we've ever seen in history. There are more millionaires under 25 years old than ever. There will be more millionaires in the next 10 years created than there ever have in the history of the world. I mean, that's incredible. And what we've noticed is that things are completely changing. How many of you have noticed that things have really changed out in the economy? We've seen European countries go bankrupt, right? We've seen Europe teeter on whether the euro's even gonna hold. This is a very unique time in history. It's a unique time in history in the U.S. In the last couple of years, you've been able to go from a $750,000 house to a $450,000 house without even having to move. Yeah. So there's some very unique times coming up, and if you don't pay attention to what's coming up, you're going to miss something very important. There are major changes coming. How many of you think that the GFC is going to impact Australia, continue to impact Australia, like the economic changes? And how many of you don't think that it's going to impact Australia? Okay, a couple people on drugs. That's cool. That's cool. So the changes are coming, and the way business is getting done around the world is completely differently than it has. So please write this down. Today, your story is your greatest asset. What I'm going to teach you today, I want you to take home and teach to your children. How many of you have children in here? Raise your hand if you have children. Yeah, how many of you have children in the room with you? Yeah, great. Imagine if you could learn the skills in business that could help you create a 6- or 7-figure business year after year after year when you were 18, 19 years old or 15 years old. They don't teach this stuff in uni, and it's unfortunate. Today, your story is your biggest asset. And you know, what's funny is we get to come on, you hear about these 5 multi-million-dollar businesses Jeff and I created before we were 30 years old, and we get this big glowing video, but it's all really kind of a bunch of crap. I'll tell you why. Because really, Jeff and I started 24 different companies, and 5 were successful. So how many did that leave us that didn't work out too well? 19, right? 19 that we drove into the ground, that we blew up, that we destroyed, that we wasted money on, that we totally didn't work out too well. I mean, I remember when Jeff and I bought an internet company for $350,000 on a Tuesday, and on Thursday it was worth nothing. Yeah, now I could teach you how to do that if you'd like. So what we're learning today is that business has completely changed. Social media has changed it. The way we connect has changed it. What's the first thing you do before you do business with anybody that you've just met?
Look them up on Facebook.
Yeah, you look them up on Facebook, right? How we do business through LinkedIn, through Facebook, through Twitter, through YouTube has completely changed the way that we do business with people. So today we're going to look at things like, how is business getting done now that we're so connected to each other's personal brand and who we are? You know, if you went on Google and you looked up your name, are you happy with what you see? Does it sell you like you need to be sold? Does it describe you like you need to be described? Now, a lot of people think, why would I talk about myself or my story? Like, how does this have to do with business? What I'm going to show you today is how many of you would love to make a lot more money than you're making now? Great. And how many of you would love to make that from your home in your pajamas? Great. Well, today, you can be doing this through webinars and teleseminars. You can be doing this through selling and packaging up your information. And what we're talking about today is how do you actually do that? And it starts with your story. So it starts with your what? Story. Yeah, so please turn to your partner and say, I am valuable. Turn to your other partner and say, and you should know this too. Can I borrow somebody's pen real quick? Great, thank you. So how much would you pay for this pen? $1. We've got to be in Australia. 10 cents? Yes, cool, right? Okay. Now, imagine I told you that this pen was the pen that Elvis used to write his last love letter just before he passed away to his lover named Alfred. How much would you pay for it now? No, wait. Imagine you're all raving Elvis fans. What would you pay for it now? Priceless, right? Now, what changed? Did the pen change? No. So what changed? Yes. So thank you. So please write this down. Not only is your story your biggest asset, but your mistakes are the most important part of your story. If you could share your mistakes and help somebody shave 10 to 20 to 30 years off of a learning curve of whatever they're trying to do, would that be valuable to them? I mean, is business about helping people? Hello? Yes? So how many of you would love to help more people this year? Yes. How many of you would love to help more people than you've ever helped this year? How many of you would love to give to charity more this year than you've ever given before? Yes. So are you in the helping people business? Yes. So what we're talking about is helping people. Are you here to get help by some people that know some things? And I'm sure that if I sat down with you and looked at 10, 20, or 30 years of your life experience, that you could probably teach me a lot of things, right? Yeah. Just want to let you know, if we were in prison, you'd be the one. Let's give that. All right. It's the front row. He gets the front row. It's the bonus plan. So how do we do this? So let's check it out. So today is our story. It's a story about how these two goofball guys went from a dark restaurant with 15 people. This was our very first seminar that we ever led. Please write this down. Your very first seminar is likely going to be with friends and family. Your very first seminar will be with friends and family. And that's okay. That's how we started. We had a dark little restaurant. There was a DJ booth in the back. It was pumping. It was cold. We had 15 people in there, in the dark, barely being able to write. And we went from this 3 years ago to this 3 years later, building one of the largest personal brands in the world for training and development and being able to be on stages with Sir Richard Branson and Tim Ferriss. And some of the other largest stages. We just got invited to the UK to speak in front of 46,000 people. Now, I'm a little nervous about that. Would anybody else be a little nervous about 46,000 people? You know that public speaking is the #1 fear? It's even higher than death. That means that the guy giving the eulogy at the funeral would rather be in the box, right? So when we did this event, this was a big event for us to actually get here and to be able to show and prove ourselves in Australia. How many of you think you'd love to be public speaking or running some seminars or workshops? If you'd love to be loving some seminars or workshops, raise your hand. Okay, great, awesome. So I'm going to talk today actually about how do you start to design, and in our programs and things like Industry Rockstar Intensive, which we teach people, is how do you actually set up your workshop business? If you haven't thought of doing a workshop business, it could be a very, very lucrative business for you. And I've gone into many companies where they've gone, workshops, what are you talking about? That's so far from anything we'd ever think about. But as soon as they add it, they could add millions of dollars to their bottom line. Now, who in here has a job? You have a job right now. Okay, great. And keep your hand up. Just keep your hand up for a second. Keep your hand up if you would love to leave that job. Okay, great. Awesome. Love it. Now, awesome. Today is going to be about how you can, now more than better at any time in history, how you can leave your job and start your own business. How many of you would love to have your own business, your own successful business, leaving your job? Great. So please write this down. It's about 3 things. How many?
3 things.
It's about acquiring a database. So it's about doing what with a database? Acquiring. It's about acquiring a database. And now there's been no better time in history for you to acquire a database of people. The only difference between you and your boss is that that person has 2 things. How many?
2.
That's it. They have a database of people, so they have a relationship with the clients. So they have a what?
Relationship with the client.
Yeah, they have a relationship. And the second thing is that they have a product path for when they have that relationship for people to buy from them. So they have a relationship with the client and they have a product path. That's it. How many of you think you could create that if you had a job? Well, that's not very confident. Not this group, right? How many of you have some relationships? How many of you have people on Facebook? You got some friends on Facebook? Yep. Okay, and the rest of you are what, weird? Turn to your partner and say, I've got friends. Turn to your partner and say, I've got friends. And turn to the other partner and say, I swear I have friends. So if you have friends, do you have relationships? Yeah, so please write this down. Stop having customers and start having relationships. Jeff and I don't have customers. We have relationships. Because to me, I only want to work with people that I can love and help. The rest of them will go find someone else that can love and help them. One of the things I'm going to talk about today is how do you raise your price points so that you're playing at the top of the industry. You know, there's this unfortunate misnomer that you have to actually start at the bottom and work your way up. How many of you learned that one? Start at the bottom and work your way up. You get out of school and then you work your way up. Well, I thought that sounded a little weird, and I just wanted to start at the top. And everybody else around me said, that's kind of weird. But then I had some coaches that said, well, why start at the bottom when the bottom's overcrowded? Why not just start at the top? So today's going to be about the people in your industry that are at the top. What are they doing in order to be there? How many of you know somebody that makes a lot more money than you in your industry? Yeah. And keep your hand up if you think they're that much better than you. Yeah, they're probably not. But they have a better story, and they have a number of other things they're doing. So at this event, we got an opportunity to share our story. Now, how many of you would love to get on stage in front of thousands of people and share your story and get paid for that? Awesome. Cool. And the rest of you don't speak English? Okay. The fear of public speaking. I got it. Good. Good. We're going to talk about that too. And what I'm going to talk about today is how do you, so actually when you get in front, there's a distinction. I want you to write this distinction down. There's a distinction between public speaking and profit speaking. Public speaking and profit speaking. Profit speaking is the highest paid profession in the world. And what it means is that you can actually get people inspired, get them up, get them connected to opportunity, to possibility. They can see something for themselves, and they'll literally will get up out of their seats, and they will go to enroll and take commitment, be in commitment with you by putting down some resources. By the way, what's more important, time or money? Absolutely. So what Jeff and I are going to help you do in our trainings is we're going to help you move from selling your time, because a lot of you sell your time. How many of you sell your time, or you sell per session? We're going to help you move from that to selling your value. Because the highest people in the world, they don't sell their time. Do you think Richard Branson sells his time? Do you think you can hire him for his time? Not at all. You hire him for the value. So now I said the first thing you need to do is acquire a database. The second thing is to nurture that database. So it's to what?
Nurture.
Yes. And the third thing is to make offers to that database. So it's to make offers. It's to make what?
Offers.
Yes. So we got it? You acquire, you nurture, and you offer. Can I get a little acquire, nurture, offer jig in your seat? Ready? Acquire, nurture, and offer. Turn to your partner and say acquire, and nurture, and offer. Acquire. Come on, are we ready to have fun? Yeah. You know, I learned something a long time ago, which is I'd rather be really dorky and rich than really cool and broke. Will you guys play with me today? Yes. Okay, good. Turn to your partner and go, acquire and nurture and offer. Acquire and nurture and offer. Acquire and nurture and offer. Awesome. I love it. Great. Give me 1 second here on the fix of this. Cool. So we were really hoping when we did this event that it would turn out something like this with Sir Richard Branson. And it kind of did. I want you to write this down. I want each and every one of you to be playing with the highest people in your industries. Just think about the rock stars in your industries for a second. You know, for us, and I used to be, I'll give you my story in a minute. I used to be in the record industry. I've been around a lot of celebrities. And, you know, they never really fazed me. But there's something about Sir Richard. Guy's just an icon, right? And there we were all giggly, Jeff and I, like two little schoolgirls. But this is what I want you to know, because we've approached a lot of successful people, and what we're going to teach you in our Rockstar trainings is how do you actually approach people and get your life set up for joint venture partnerships. How many of you would love to send out an email and have a flood of clients come in through the door? Yeah, because there are people all over the world that have hundreds of thousands or millions of people on their email list that can help you accelerate your businesses like that. But if you're not packaged up or positioned and ready to do that, then they're not going to be ready to work with you. So please write this down. This is a core tenet in approaching really successful people. And I don't care who it is or where you are in the world. You want to give to them first. Give to them first. Give to them first. So Jeff and I knew that we wanted to figure out a way to partner with Sir Richard Branson, right? What do you think the first thing is that most people do when they walk up to Sir Richard Branson or anybody really successful? Well, they certainly, yes. I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, they do want a photograph, right? What else do they normally do? What's the first thing they normally do? They pitch him an idea. You know how many times people came up to Jeff and I or Sir Richard Branson and started pitching us on investing in their businesses in like the 5-second video? I was like, sure, of course. I'll just write you a check right now. Here's $1 million. Go have fun. Sounds great. You want to give to them first. So what Jeff and I did is we actually did a whole bunch of research on Version Unite and how we could actually help that company better use its resources and better connect. What do you think one of the most important initiatives Sir Richard Branson's up to right now? He's up to entrepreneurship, helping spread the word of social entrepreneurism. So we did a whole bunch of research, and we handed him a report, and we said, here's 100 things that you could do to better further social entrepreneurism faster for Virgin Unite. He said, wow, this is super cool. I think you guys should meet my CEO. Connect us with the CEO, and now we're in talks with Virgin Unite to be traveling the world with Virgin Unite, holding the social entrepreneurism flag. I want each and every one of you to be working with leaders in your industry. How many of you want that? Awesome. So you're going to have to do what first? Thank you. How many would love to go to your next seminar and get paid to be there? Raise your hand if that's you and say yes. Awesome. So in our trainings and our seminars, it's all about being in action and making money in the weekends. This is actually a pretty common story. Now, let's talk about what we're going to do is I'm going to tell you the stories of our clients and how you can do what they were doing. Would you like to know how to do that? Yes. How many of you would like to know how to make $45,000 in the next 3 days? Yes. Awesome. Let's talk about what she was doing. Swan, which we branded as Dr. Woo-Woo, because she's so freaking woo-woo. She's a PhD in metaphysics, and she'll work with you on your past lives and all sorts of crazy stuff that then ends up actually working and changing your life. It's incredible. We branded her as Dr. Woo. She worked on her personal brand. Now, what can you do with your personal brand? How many of you have heard personal brand before? If you have, raise your hand and say yes. Yes. Great. So there's a couple things you can do with this. How many? Thank you. The first thing is you can become a guru. Turn to your partner and say, you are a guru. Good. Turn to your partner on the other side and say, you're a guru too. I didn't forget about you. Now, what is a guru business? How many of you believe you really have a message? You have some advice. You have some wisdom inside of you? Yes. Okay, great. Turn to your partner and say, I have some advice for you. How many of you love to give advice? Yes. And how many of you are lying? You love to give advice. Yes. How many of you would love to get paid for your advice? How many of you would love to make 6 or 7 figures a year giving people advice? Yes. Okay. So this is what we're talking about today. As a guru business, we're going to talk today about how do you package up and position yourself as an expert in the world as what we call a rock star. And there's a distinction. I'll make that for you shortly. And actually take your advice and take your message out in the world. This is critical. Now more than ever, you have the opportunity to share your message, your wisdom, your advice, the mistakes you've made. I mean, you know, the only reason Jeff and I are here because we've created all these multi-million-dollar and multi-international companies. And before I was 30, my largest company was worth $20 million. I was in 22 different countries working. The only reason we did that is because we made so many mistakes in the last 10 years that we made more mistakes than most people will make in their whole lifetime. So please write this down. Fail forward. fail forward. You are growing and being more successful when you make mistakes. I seek out making mistakes because I don't know that I'm going anywhere until I'm making mistakes. So you can do a guru business. A what? Good. Now, some of you are going, look, Kane, this sounds great, but I have no interest in actually packaging myself up as a rock star in my industry, but I do run a business. How many of you are contractors, coaches, or consultants, or freelancers? Okay, great, thank you. What we're talking about today is actually how do you position yourself as an absolute top of your industry, get paid the highest rates possible, and have the most credibility so you can be getting clients at the highest rates possible. How many of you, raise your hand if you're a contractor, consultant? Okay, great. Now, keep your hand up if you have ever sold your services for $100,000 a year. Okay, great, good. And now, by the way, just keep your hand up if that's you. Now, just so you know that I'm not talking about a company where they've been an account, but you actually went in and sold one person a $100,000 a year service. Raise your hand if that's you. Okay, wonderful, thank you. One person. Now, please write this down. It's easy to make a lot of money. There's more. I know that's not that brilliant yet. It's easy to make a lot of money. It's actually quite hard to make a little bit of money. Yeah. What I'm going to teach you today, and more in Rockstar Intensive, and what we teach you to start packaging up yourself and positioning yourself, is it's actually much easier when you're properly packaged and positioned to be charging a lot of money for your products and services. Most of you get commoditized. You work way too hard, and they just say, what's the cheapest rate? Yeah. You and 12 other people do the same thing. We're going to teach you how to stop commoditizing yourself and actually start selling yourself in the value market play where the experience for you is you are priceless. There's either you or no one else. Now, the second thing that you can do with personal branding is you can become a professionally branded or personally branded professional. So personally branded what? Professional. And what this means is that you may have a small business. How many of you have a small business here? Raise your hand if that's you. Okay, great. And you may not want to be the guru itself. But you know now that if you take your personal brand and you actually get out there from behind the logo, that you can help accelerate your business so much more. But listen, don't even take my word for how important this is. Check this out.
Hi, I'm Shelley Whitehurst. I'm from Melbourne, Australia. Hi. And I have a company called Codename Max, and we specialise in digital and personal branding. For the last 10 years, I've been working all over the world with companies in the US and in Australia. Some of the names that you might know would be Sephora, Australia Post, PwC. I've worked with some smaller companies called Shoe Skin Assist and Lazy Patch. We've gone back to really wanting to know who's behind the businesses, who's running the businesses, and the relationships we can have with businesses. In Australia, we're not really doing this right now. It is massive over in the US, and it's going through the roof. Personal branding isn't just something that you just wake up and go, oh, I'm going to be great at it. It's actually processes and methods. So today you're really lucky to be about to have a great experience with Jeff and Kane. They are the experts in the world on personal branding.
Cool. So let's talk about personal branding. So how many of you know this guy? If you do, raise your hand and say, I. Cool. Tony Robbins, does he have products? Yes or no? Yes. Does he have services? Yes. Great. How about this lady, Laura Langmeyer, also an American, talks about money. If you know her, raise your hand and say yes. Does she have products? Yes. Does she have services? Yes. Cool. How about this guy, Dr. DeMartini, friend and colleague. Has anybody been to his breakthrough experience? He's brilliant, isn't he? He's extraordinary. Does he have products? Yes. The DeMartini Library, right? Does he have services? Are you seeing a trend? Yes. You're getting quieter. Yes or yes? Yes. Thank you. Robert and Kim Kiyosaki. Any couples in the room that work together? Any couples? Yes? You two gentlemen? Yeah, cool. I understand. Okay, cool. It's all right. It's kind of, there's this couple, right? Yes. Do we have products? Yes. Do we have services? Yes. Industry Rockstar Intensive Rockstar Trainer. Great. And then there's this gentleman, Tim Ferriss. Does he have products? Yes. Does he have services? Yes. Awesome. Okay, now on the flip side of things, the personal branded professional, so the person who wasn't like selling their information online or being the teacher, Donna Karan, entire line, the clothing line after her, right? Was she personally branded? You better believe it, right? How about Versace, right? Was he personally branded? Yes. How about this gentleman? Yes. You know, I cried when I heard that Steve Jobs passed away. Did any other gentleman cry? No? Come on, guys, look. A woman wants a man who's strong, who's grounded, who's intelligent, but she also wants a man who's sensitive, who's caring, who's emotional. She just can't have that man because he's got a boyfriend. So the reason I show this picture is it's very important. Look at how young Stephen was here, yet he understood something very powerful. This is not a new concept, but it has become the way business is getting done. Understanding how to use your personal brand is the way business is getting done. Building your businesses around your personal brand is how business is getting done. Let's look at just a few others. Who's this young lady? Oprah, yes. I'm from Chicago. She lives downtown there. Lady Gaga. The whole music industry is all focused on what? Personal branding. All artists are personally branded. In fact, some of the things that I'm bringing you today, after having spent a decade in the music industry, is how we were branding these artists. And then there's this guy, right? Sir Richard Branson. Now, Branson knew something so well about branding. I mean, does Sir Richard Branson have a strong brand? Yeah, I mean, we had dinner with Sir Richard, and he's a very, very chill, very humble, extraordinary man, right? And he's very quiet at the dinner. He did a toast, and it was very sweet and all that. And I was like, wow, so interesting. Such a sweet, humble man with such a huge brand in the world. And then just as he gets up, he's going to leave, he's got to get off to his plane. As soon as he stands up, the photographers start coming over. As soon as they start taking pictures, he pulls back his jacket. He's got a rugby shirt on. He grabs a beautiful girl, and he's like, right? And he understands something about that, which is it's about who you are. Please write this down. Authenticity today sells. Authenticity sells. The number one fear about public speaking is no longer, and can no longer be for you, because all you have to do is be yourself. Am I a goofball? Yes. Yes, and I'm proud of it. When we work with you, we're going to take you through some branding exercises in the Rockstar Intensive, and one of the things you're going to start to realize is that who you are, actually who you are, all the goofy parts, all the pimples, all the silly stuff, all the bad stuff, that is one of the most important and the valuable assets for you. So Sir Richard Branson understands, in fact, they just wrote a book on him called How to Be a Business Rockstar, and what we're talking about today is how do you position yourself, bless you, and get expert rates. How do you get the exposure of a celebrity so you have that kind of exposure and end up as an industry rock star? Or in other words, someone innovating and leading your fields. How many of you want to be innovating and leading your fields? How many of you are ready to own your niche? You own the space you're in. Maybe show up at your office as the most important person at the office or the leader. If you have a job and you don't want to leave your job, now is the time to start showing up as the most valuable asset in your industry, the person ready for the next promotion. So how does it start? I know I'm talking a lot about this. We're going to actually dive into it now. Jeff always goes, you're talking too much about it. Just get into it. Reminds me of the story about this woman who says she's going to leave her husband. And I said, why? And she says, because he's an entrepreneur, and all he does is stand at the end of the bed and tell me how good it's going to be. So here's how it starts. It starts with you defining who you want to serve. It's called your perfect customer. And whether you're in business or not already, or you already have customers, you already think you know who you're serving, it's time to take some new stock in that. What we're going to do in just a moment is we're going to do an exercise where I want you to think about if you could serve anybody in the world, anybody. If you could serve anybody, wave a magic wand and just work with those people, the most perfect people to you, the people that invigorate you, excite you, hold the same values as you, who would you want to work with? So let's take 30 seconds right now and just write that down. Who would you want to work with if you could work with anybody? This is going to start to help you define and get clear about your business, or the business that you're in, or the business that you work for. So just go ahead and write this down. Who would you want to serve? Is it children? Is it mothers? Is it the wealthy? Yeah, can I give you guys a little $10,000 tip? Are you ready for a $10,000 tip? Yes. Stop working with broke people. Seriously. Stop working with broke people. Start working with wealthy people and sustainable people. And then when you're sustainable and wealthy, give to the people who can't afford it. Is that cool? Is that a good plan? I used to work with artists because I wanted to take the starving out of artists. And I realized that they were so broke that I was going to have to be broke with them to do that. And I was going to have to starve with them. And then I thought, well, what if I worked with the most successful artists and worked with them on something, and then created seminars and just gave everybody else tickets to come? Does that sound cool? So work with people that are successful and sustainable, because many of you are probably targeting people that are commoditizing you or racing you to the bottom. Okay, it's a little aside. Great. So please do me a favor. Just stand up and go meet somebody that you haven't met yet and share with them who would you want to serve. If you could serve anybody, just stand up and go meet somebody, share with them who would you want to serve if you could serve anybody. Go. Who would you guys want to serve?
Hey?
Who would you want to serve? You could serve anybody.
That's what I was just talking about. Then, a lot of the things you're talking about, because I've heard all about you guys through Crystal.
Yeah.
Makes me wonder how I apply all your stuff to my business. I mean, I own an industrial factory. I own steel. We do steel. You
Yes.
know what I mean? That's all we do. We build industrial bins and posts and beams for builders.
So either you might want to start your own business on the side, and if not, what you could do is you could take this information to your business and take it to your managers, take it to your leaders, and
It's
say,
all about selling what you can offer. Hey, about personal, not actually offering products. It's yourself. The products. That's what you guys are about.
the info business, the guru business is about information products.
Yeah.
The personally branded professional would be about someone running a business that's just using themselves as a marketing tool. Yeah. No. Cool. All right, give your partner a big high five and say, you are a rock star. And have a seat. And everybody give me a big whoa rock star. You ready? Here we go. Whoa rock star. Awesome, thank you. Okay, have a seat. So what did you say? Let's hear from a couple of you. What did you say? Let's start diving into your businesses. Who wants to move their business forward this year? Raise your hand. Great. So, can I hear from you, ma'am, in the back? No, not me. No, not me. Thank you for volunteering. Everybody give her a hand. Really? You don't want to share? Can I encourage you to? How about if everything you say is absolutely perfect? What do you do? Just tell me what you do.
Just doing internet marketing at the moment.
You're doing internet marketing?
Yeah, just started.
Great.
So.
And are you selling your own products?
Not yet.
So you're selling other people's products?
Yeah, trying to.
Okay, got it. Great. And so if you could sell your products to anybody, who would you want to sell them to?
Other mothers.
Other mothers?
Yep.
Perfect. Got it. Who have what problems?
Just helping their children learn to read.
That's great. Good. My parents actually own a company called Kids Dad's Moms. You should check it out, kidsdadsmoms.com. Okay. It's all about how to match learning products and toys and books and games to children's learning preferences so that they can learn at the speed that they like to learn. Thank you very much. Awesome. Give her a hand. Very nice. And look, she's still alive. Okay, who else? Next. Yes, over here. Give him a hand. There's a man. I'll give you a microphone so they can hear you. Yep.
Hi, I'm Michael. I'm a builder here on the Gold Coast, and
Michael, right in the microphone so we can hear you.
Like to work with architects and obviously the wealthy.
Awesome.
Build architecturally designed homes and.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So architects, and you want to work with them doing what?
Providing a quality project, building houses.
Okay, so are you a builder?
Yes.
Okay, great. And so so what you'd probably do is you would use this stuff to personally brand yourself.
Yes.
You become known as the builder to go to for architects, maybe in a certain niche, and we'll help you narrow that stuff down in our Rockstar trainings. But let me help model this out a little bit for you. So there's two types of customers. How many? 2. Thank you. The first one is called the done for you crowd. It's called the what? Done for you. How many of you like stuff done for you? Yes, not done to you, ma'am. I saw that look in your eyes. Okay. Done for you means that they're hiring you as a builder because they want your expertise. They're hiring you as a contractor because they just want you to come in and just do it for them. Just come in and do it for them. What do you do, ma'am? She's a health and wellness. So how many of you would love to sit down with a session and have someone go through your vitals and see how you are and how healthy you are? How many of you would like that? Yeah. So you would hire her to just do it for you. Just take my blood, do what you got to do and tell me how good I am, right? That's done for you. Now, there's a whole separate category of people called the do-it-yourselfers. The what? Do-it-yourselfers. Yes. These are people who want to learn how to do it themselves, what you do. So are there builders out there that would love to know how you build?
Yes.
Absolutely, right? Are there people that want to add additions to their home that maybe want to do things themselves?
Yes.
Okay, how many of you would love to build or do something in your house, maybe some renovating or build a little addition or fix up your bathrooms or kitchens? Raise your hand if that's you. Awesome, just real high so he can see his market. Okay, so this entire market of 100 plus people could be a do-it-yourself crowd. Thank you. So that do-it-yourself crowd is where you would start to bring out your information products, right? Now, as it turns out, these two worlds, I know you guys can't see too over there, so you just have to jump up if you can't. These two worlds actually feed each other for credibility. So the done-for-you crowd, the architects that are going to hire him, when he says, look, my products have reached over 1 million people worldwide that have been using my techniques. Do you think that sounds good when he sits down with the architects? Yes, and you think that when he goes back out and sells his products and he says, the top architects all over Australia have been hiring me to build their buildings. Is it buildings or homes?
Yeah, homes.
Homes, great. The top architects have been helping me to build my homes. Does that provide credibility to the do-it-yourself market? Yeah. Do these feed off each other? Yeah. So do you now have two entirely different markets that you can work within? Awesome. So we could build a whole set of products. For example, for this crowd, we could build the top 10 things that most architects don't know that builders won't tell you until it's too late.
That's fantastic. Right. Bring it
That's
on.
What I do. Right. For this crowd, we could build a free report called Top 10 Things Most Homeowners Do Wrong When Renovating Their Kitchens. How many of you would love to just read a free report like that? Top 10 things. Okay, cool. Now you've acquired that database. Now you start to send them little videos of yourself, and you say, hey, what's your name, Michael? They say, hi, this is Michael. So glad you met the site. I want to share just a tip of the day about how you can take cabinets and make them look brand new in 10 minutes with almost no money. Here you go. He does this whole thing, 5-minute video. He's now nurturing them. Yes?
Yes.
Then, 2 weeks later, he says, I've just released my new DVD product for $697 about how to completely make over your house. How many of you would spend $697 to learn how to completely make over your house for less money than you'd ever have to spend on hiring somebody? Raise your hand, nice and big, nice and big. Cool. There you go, 700 times 50, you just made, what is that, $35,000? Yeah? Cool.
Yeah,
That's some
I'd
quick
like
money.
a piece of that.
What's that?
I'd like a piece of that.
Yeah, how many of you like $35,000 in the next few weeks? Great, that's how easy it really is. It is actually that easy. Great, thank you. Give Michael a hand.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, Michael. All right, so I'm going to share, we'll take the slides back up. I'm going to share with you from our perfect customers how they've done it and how you can do it too. Here we go.
Hi, it's Trav Bell here, the bucket list guy, and I've just finished the Industry Rockstar Intensive, and it's been great. The great thing with these guys is you get 2 for the price of 1. At the end of on the Sunday of the seminar, I booked my first speaking engagement straight away. That's returned $5,000 straight away, and that was only that's gone 1 week straight after the seminar, which was cool. That particular speaking engagement was, I had 8 accountants in a room and I closed 7 of them just because of their techniques, which was fantastic. And this was 1 week after the course. From the techniques that were shown, I had no people booked in before Jeff and Kane. This is serious. I had no people booked into my seminar. I thought I'll make a date just before going into Jeff and Kane's. And then 2 weeks after the seminar, it is 4/5 full, so which is fantastic. I'm absolutely over the moon, and I know exactly what to do when I'm in there and what the next step is afterwards. And what they've done is given me a focus, and they've given me, all right, this is what you do first, second, and third. Cut out all the fluff, all the other stuff that doesn't work, and now my path is very clear on what I have to do in order to be a great speaker, which is really what my passion is. The money that you invest into this course is insignificant in terms of the direction and the focus. So thanks a lot, guys.
How many of you noticed that he has a mohawk and earrings? Yes? How many of you noticed that he said he went into an accounting firm with a mohawk and earrings to speak? Any accountants in the room? Would you take a guy with a mohawk and earrings seriously? Well, you might because you're young. Yeah, right? Okay, so what did Trav do? Trav changed 7 out of 8 people's lives. He went into an accounting firm where there were 8 people. How many of you would love to convert 7/8 of a room into a program of yours or into a product of yours? Yes. Do you think there's a system that he might have used? Okay, great. So he did $5,000 within the first week after the Industry Rockstar Intensive. How many of you love to make $5,000 in a week speaking? Awesome. And he sold 20 out of 35 tickets. So he did actually $7,500 within 2 weeks. That was pretty cool. Let's talk about what he did. Please write this down. People do not buy information. They buy systems. So they buy what? Yeah. Information's free these days. Ma'am, what do you do?
I work for the government, but we also have our own flooring business.
Okay, so you got your own flooring business. If I went on Google and I Googled flooring, how many web pages do you think I'd get? Millions, right? Now, is there lots of information for us free of charge? Yes, so do people buy information? No, they buy the organized system, the blueprint, the process. How many of you notice that the biggest gurus out there have systems, have blueprints, have processes? Yes? Are we awake? Turn your partner, give him a little light jab in the ribs and say, wake up! Cool. So, do you think Jeff and I have a system? Yes. We have the Industry Rockstar system, and this is our formula called the Industry Rockstar formula. Called the what? Industry Rockstar formula. Thank you. Here's how it starts. You have to start with getting crystal clear about who you serve and what your message is to them. In the Rockstar Intensive, we're going to help you start to get really clear on the niches that you want to be in and your message to them. Here's a little stat for you. Only 4% of people that come to your Facebook fan page and leave ever come back. And that is diminishing day by day. That means that if you don't capture them, if they're not absolutely crystal clear about who it's for and what your message is to them, then they're gone and they'll never come back. A lot of people go, clarity, schmarity. I've heard that before. But actually, when I dig into 99% of people's businesses, it's absolutely unclear. It's unclear in their marketing. It's unclear in their messaging. It's unclear in their networking. So we're going to help you get crystal clear. The second thing is packaging. What is it? Packaging. Thank you. Once you've gotten clear about that, you need to start to package up your intellectual property, your ideas, your concepts, turning them into products and services. How many of you know that if you had a whole lot more products, you'd make a lot more money this year? Yep. How many of you have a book inside of you? Yep. Okay. Now keep your hands up if you have that book inside of you. And how many of you have been working on that book for more than 6 months? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's time to get that stuff done. When you come to Rockstar Intensive, we actually have you building your products in the room. Why? Because it's not a seminar, it's a do-inar. It's a make money in-ar. Cool? All right, last one is you got to position yourself. Positioning yourself deals with things like who your joint venture partners are, creating the relationships, social proof. How do you actually get the opportunities to be doing joint ventures with large internet marketers? We're going to teach you how to set up your online systems so that you can actually go do that. You know, one of our buddies is Frank Kern. Does anybody know who Frank Kern is? Evan Pagan, Frank Kern, those guys? Some of the largest internet marketers in the world. And they're really super cool guys. Frank Kern basically, you go to Frank's house in La Jolla in California, Southern California. And we go out there because Jeff surfs with him all the time. And we get to Frank's house, and he's got his Rolls Royce with a Phantom, this crazy Phantom, parked in the alley next to his Lamborghini, okay, sandwiched in the alley so that when the garbage truck comes by, it just barely rips off the doors of those two cars. And we go, Frank, why don't you park this stuff in the garage? And he goes, well, come here, I'll show you. You go down to his garage, he opens up his garage, and he's got 12 of the most beautiful vintage surfboards in his garage, right? And Frank's super cool, and he's always looking for new people to promote their products and services. But most people that approach him do not have the proper system set up to even do it. So, you know, when these guys shoot out an email, they put it out to 400,000 or 500,000 of the most raving fans. And those people go, look, and if you don't have the systems in place, it won't work. Nobody will make money. No one's lives will get changed. I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, is it all right if I share a little bit quickly about myself and how I got here so you can keep learning about how to do this whole thing? Okay, great. So I grew up in Chicago. Anybody been to Chicago? Yeah? Cool. It's a friendly town. People are known for being friendly there. There's a little joke in Chicago that says, if you had a lengthy conversation with a person that's dialed the wrong number, you're probably from Chicago. I grew up in Chicago. I started playing piano and singing when I was 5 years old. But I grew up in a house with a father who was an accountant, was a chief financial officer, and I grew up in a Jewish house. Anybody know anything about Jewish houses? You have 3 professions in a Jewish house that you can choose from. Anybody knows what those are? Doctor, lawyer, like banker, right? Okay, my dad still calls me and asks me when I'm going back to law school. In fact, you know, he was so stunned. He was absolutely not going to have a son who was a musician. In fact, he used to tell me jokes. He'd say, hey, Kane, what's the difference between a large pepperoni pizza and a musician? I'd say, what, Dad? He'd say, well, a large pepperoni pizza can feed a family of 4. No. But I didn't believe him, and I persevered on. And by the time I was 13, I started touring. And I spent my teenage years touring with large bands and acts like Mariah Carey and Joe Satriani and Nelly Furtado and Journey and all those crazy groups. But please write this down. Here's one of the major lessons I learned. Do not confuse exposure with money. Do not confuse exposure with money. Many of you are racing to get exposure. You're out networking. You're setting up your fan pages. You're setting up your web pages. You're doing things to get exposure. But there's not a lot of money coming in. Jeff and I have trained a lot of celebrities that you would know by name, that we'll leave out of this conversation for their own privacy, who had massive exposure and were not making nearly as much money as they should have been. And some of them were even broke with massive exposure. So in our trainings, we're going to show you how do you actually get set up so once you have that massive exposure, you can actually be capturing it and making money. Your products, your packaging, your online systems. How many of you were at the Financial Education Summit? Yep. Remember that gentleman, Nathan, that I pulled out of the audience? And I helped him within 24 hours build an internet funnel that helped him create about $1,000 in 24 hours. Because when you understand the systems, money comes very quickly, comes very easily. So by the time I was 23 years old, after touring for 10 years with these large bands, I was completely broke. I was actually homeless. I was living in a friend's office on his couch. And I knew something had to change. You know, when something has to change, you know that time in that decision making where you say, it's got to change. Like, not like, oh, I'm going to change something. It's like, it's got to change. Well, that's where I was. I was actually absolutely rock bottom. And each and every one of you, how many of you are sort of metaphorically on your own couch? Like you're either kind of plateauing out in your careers, your lives, or you're really sort of struggling and frustrated. Yeah. So that's where I was. And I said, you know what? I realized that something's got to change. So I got off the road and I went to school. And I went to Berklee College of Music, which is a music school up in Boston. And I got there and I said, look, how much is the school? I want to go to school here. And they said, it's $140,000. And I said, oh my God, I just want to go to school here. I don't want to buy it. And then I asked an important question. I said, are there payment plans? Because if there weren't, I wasn't going. And the guy said yes. And I said yes. So I was going. Please write this down. If you want better results, ask better questions. If you want better results, ask better questions. I also learned a very key thing, which is how important it is to invest in myself and how important it is to have great mentors. How many of you had a great coach and a great mentor before in your life? Raise your hand if that's you. Yeah. How many of you know that if you would have had an incredible and the right coach and the right mentor this last year, you would have had a lot more success with what you were doing? Yes, great. So I learned that I needed a mentor, and I went out and got my first mentor, which was Bob Proctor. Now, my mentors weren't where like I sat in their audiences. My mentors are like where I engaged them. I've paid hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars and given away percentages of lots of my companies to my mentors. Because, please write this down, when people pay a lot, they pay a lot of attention. When people pay a lot, they pay a lot of attention. Here's another $10,000 tip. Stop working for free or bartering. It doesn't work. If you really want to change people's lives, they need to put skin in the game and commit to it. And the more they put in the game, the more they pay attention. Jeff and I charge $100,000 a year to work with us privately. And so that, you know, that begets us a certain type of client. I'm not saying that to impress you. I'm just saying that to impress upon you that each and every one of you should be playing at that level. And you can be, because here's a really fun tip. As it turns out, people primarily spend about 10 to 15%. So how much? They spend about 10 to 15%. Can you get this marker open for me? Thank you. They spend about 10 to 15% on their education. Can you open that up? I'm just a wimp. Thank you. So if they're spending $100,000 a year, how much are they probably earning net? Yeah, somewhere between what we found is between 600 to $1 million a year. That's all. Are there people making $600,000 to $1 million a year everywhere? All over the world. Why not work with them? Because talking to them about $100,000 a year work with you is like talking to somebody who's making $100,000 about spending $1,000 a year with you. You get it's just a relationship. It's just a proportion. It's just a value. So we learned very quickly, I'll take the slides back, that we needed to invest in ourselves. How important is investing in yourself? Are you investing in yourselves now? By the way, when people buy your products and services, who are they investing in? Themselves. Absolutely. So when they spend money on you, are they spending money on you? No, they're spending money on themselves. Are you all here spending your time? Yes. Who are you here for? Me. Yeah, and you're here for someone else. Who else? You're here for people that depend upon you. Colleagues, business partners, family. So Jeff and I invested. Now, is it always a good time to start something new? Yes. Is it always a good time? Can you always learn more stuff? Yes. Absolutely. You know that my grandmother did not start exercising until she was 60 years old? She started walking 1.5 miles a day. She's 83 now. We don't know where the hell she is. So Jeff and I started investing in mentors, and here's just a few of them. This was our business mentors who helped us grow our businesses. Mary Jo and Brian, who turned out to be the people who brought all of Stephen Covey's work to the world in Silicon Valley. Carl and Michelle, who we spent years studying NLP with, getting certified in. Christine and RC, who helped us with business strategy and money. Les Brown and Bill Walsh, who worked with us on presenting and building our workshop businesses. Marco Kozlowski, Joel Bauer, and Peter Myers, all speaker presentation coaches. And of course, these guys, most recent Frank Kern and Scott Ruick, who work with us on our internet. How many of you would love to have mentors like these? Raise your hands. Yeah. Now, the reason I show this to you is because we bring their work to you when we work with you. And by the way, when you work with us, you have access to our network. Because we've always thought, how the heck can we really teach anybody to do what we do unless we give them all the resources we've had? So whenever we can get these mentors out to our trainings, they come out and speak. Bill Walsh's son, 19 years old. How many of you have a website? Raise your hand if you have a website. Okay. And the rest of you don't know what the internet is? Raise your hand if you have a website. Put them up. Okay, now keep your hand up if your website's making you more than $5,000 a month. Okay, great. How many of you would like passive income? Yeah, turn to your partner and say residual income. Now turn back to your partner and say it like you're getting it. Like you're getting residual income, not just getting it. Okay. Bill Walsh's son, 19 years old, Austin Walsh, he comes in and teaches in our trainings. He makes $300,000 a month. It's over $3 million a year. How many of that pisses you off? Yes. Another friend of ours from New Zealand, Sam Backer, comes into our trainings. He makes $100,000 a week teaching people, selling on webinars, teaching people how to use webinars to sell. Are webinars important? Have you all participated in a webinar before? Yes. So could you be, how many of you like to talk? Turn to your partner and say, I'd like to talk. And turn to your other partner and say, I'm talking to you right now, sweetie. If you could talk and be on a teleseminar, you can be making money from your home. How many of you have seen a video of Jeff and I, where we're at our studios at the office in front of the ocean? Okay, well, you will if you go online, you'll see them. You can get some free products on our website. We have our suits on like this, and underneath, pajamas. Okay, you can be doing this too. You're sharing your wisdom. You're helping brand yourself. So I took all this mentor stuff and all this information. I reinfused it back into my business, which I'm going to train you guys in how we did this. Used our personal brand, which I'm training you about today, and built one of the top 5 music companies in the world, where we now have done, we do about 75% of the video game market, doing all the soundtracks and animation and all that stuff. So let's talk about how we did this.
Hello, I'm Hallie. I'm from Melbourne. I'm a financial advisor. Recently, I attended Jeff and Kane's Rockstar Intensive program. It was such a great moment for me. Within the first 3 hours of that session, I used the techniques I learned from the program, and at the lunch break, I closed 40K business. It was an awesome experience. I couldn't believe it. Then I thought, what a great investment I made. After following week, guess what happened? I closed another 20K business. In total, by attending this program and learning the techniques from Jeff and Kane, I closed 60K business within 1 month time. It was unbelievable for my business. Now, I value my business and my contribution to others. And I also have more clarity about where is my business is heading. I highly recommend Jeff and Kane to anybody coming from all walks of life.
If she can do it, who else can do it? Yes, yes. So she did this by quadrupling her rates. How many of you would love to quadruple your rates this year? Okay, you want a little, anybody want to know how to double your rates? You want a little secret on how to double your rates? You ready? Please write this down. Double your rates! No. So it's not doubling our rates that actually is the challenge. What is it? It's actually finding the network, getting those clients, and sitting with them and understanding how to have them experience the value. Oh, I'm going to give you a really cool thing. Write this down. I'm just going off the reservation. You guys like bonus tips? Good. Please write this down. When you're in a relationship with a customer, the speaker, which is you, let's say you're selling your services or your products, you are the speaker. You're the salesperson in that moment. The speaker is responsible for one thing. How many? One. They're responsible for clarity. Turn to your partner and say, I just need to be clear. That's it. The listener is responsible for the value. So the listener is responsible for the what? Value. Yes. How many of you have worked with really high-priced clients before? Okay. Well, as you do, you're going to start to notice that the more people pay you, the more brilliant you become. Isn't that weird? Jeff and I used to coach people for hundreds of dollars a month, which, by the way, we're going to completely shift this hourly or session rate thing when you come to our trainings. You'll never, ever sell your hourly rate again. You actually commoditize yourself just by selling your sessions or hours. Completely change that. When Jeff and I were training or coaching people for $500 a month, we were saying the same things to them as we did for our clients for $10,000 a month. But when they paid us $10,000, suddenly we were brilliant. Why? Because the more people paid, the more value they made sure that they got. And it became very clear that you don't have to give them value. All right, let's go back to the slides. So let's talk about what Hallie did to create all that money. She did $40,000 in the weekend. $40,000. How many of you love to come to a weekend where you get $40,000 from your activities in business? Okay, great. Here's what she did. Please write this down. She used what's called the ascension model. The what? The ascension model. Good. Real quickly, let's just put our books down for 1 second. Guys, do we have some fun music in the background here? Put your books down for 1 second and stand up. And let's just shake out your legs a little bit. Let's shake out your legs. Put your arms out like you're sleepwalking. Turn to your right. And give your partner a little massage. Just wake them up on their shoulders. Just get them woke up. Yeah, just really energize them. Get all that stuff up. Yep. Woo. Thank you. And you can turn that up. That's right. Who's sexy and they know it makes some noise? That's it. Who's sexy and they know it makes some noise? Tell them if you like it harder or softer. Harder or softer. All right. And give them a little karate chop, some light karate chops on their back, some light karate chops. Just wake up all their cells and nerves. Yep. And switch. Turn around. Switch. Other side. Other side. And now you got to shake it to the music. You ready? Just keep waking them up. Waking them up. All right. You got a little dance now while you're doing it. Ready? Here we go. That's right. Woo! All right, give them little karate chops on their back. Let's wake them up, get them energized, real nice and lightly. All right, give them a little pat in the tush and have a seat. All right, are we having fun? Are we learning a lot? Good. So the Ascension model, the what? Yes, it starts off with products. Products. We need to get each and every one of you having products, whether it's CD sets, DVDs, webinars, teleseminars, templates. We're going to teach you how to build products in the Rockstar Intensive. How do you build your products? How do you design them? What are the price points you should be pricing them? And how do you get them distributed, of course? As soon as you build products, you gain credibility. Who's a little worried about their credibility? Who's like, yeah, Rockstar, Kane, this is cute, but I don't know if I could be the top of my industry? Go ahead. Who is that? Just raise your hand. Okay, great. Good. Thank you. Will you stand up for a second? Peter? Good. Let's get a mic and give him a hand. Like a real hand. Come on. Woo! Thank you. Peter, so what do you do?
Nothing. I just deliver pizzas right now.
Nothing. I just deliver pizzas. Oh, do you know how important pizza delivery is when you're hungry at 12 o'clock at night and you're working? It's like the most important damn thing that you could possibly have going on. So do you want to leave that job or do you want to expand your pizza delivering profession?
All of the above, yeah.
Okay, so you want to leave it? So what could you do? Now, does he have credibility in the room right now? Around pizza delivery? Let's be honest, guys. Come on. Does he have credibility? And what would you like to do?
I have no idea.
Okay, well, if you could do anything, what would you do? This is where we just dream. We dream big. What would you like to do? What are you passionate about, Peter? I remember I came up to a guy in a seminar one time, and he said, I don't know what I should do. I said, well, what are you passionate about? What keeps you up at night? What are you up late at night researching on the web? And he says, oh, I can't talk about that.
Ride motorcycles and hang out with...
You like to drive motorcycles?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So if you became kind of the rock star of motorcycles, how many of you love motorcycles and maybe or maybe not you wouldn't actually drive them, but you love them, you think they're cool? Look around, just look around. This is your market. Look around. All of these people, this is a huge market, right? Now they may not actually drive motorcycles, but they may actually love them, maybe collectors of them. How many of you actually drive motorcycles? Great. And if Peter put together a product about the top, the 30 things you need to know in buying, researching, and importing the best motorcycles from around the world, would you know a little bit about that? Would you know a little bit about importing, bringing in motorcycles from around the world, finding and sourcing the best motorcycles?
Finding, yeah.
Finding, okay, great. So if he put together a CD set and he charged, I don't know, $49 about how to find the best motorcycles in the world, the top 10 things you never thought about in finding the best motorcycles in the world, how many of you would be curious about that CD? Raise your hand if that would be you. Look around, look around. Okay, great. Maybe 50? We just made you $2,500. Not bad. Yeah. 5 minutes. Pretty cool. Okay, now, will you just share with them that you have a CD set that trains people on how to find the best motorcycles in the world? Just share that with the room real quick.
I have a CD set that teaches you how to find the best motorcycles in the world.
Cool. Did his credibility just go up? Good. Now, will you share how long you've been researching this and how long you've been working with motorcycles?
20 years.
Okay. Did his credibility just go up? Does it have anything to do with how good you are? There's about 9 things that actually change your credibility. Is value perceived? Yes or yes? Yes. 100%. We're going to train you in Rockstar Intensive how to completely use the things that the rock stars use to create perceived value. Thank you, Peter. Give him a hand. Appreciate it. So products. Outside of the fact that you need products just because you got to sell something, You need products because it raises your credibility for the next thing. Group experiences. Turn to your partner and say, I like group experiences. Turn to your other partner and say, you'll be at my next group experience. All right, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. So group experiences, we're going to train you in 2 very specific ones on how to build this business out. So the Rockstar Intensive is all about building out the business. You know, how many of this is your first seminar you've ever been to? Wow, well, this is going to fuck with your head. God, I didn't realize there's so many. How many of you, you've been to many seminars, what you call a professional seminar junkie? Raise your hand and be proud. Yeah, doesn't it start to feel like an AA meeting after a while? You just start to see the same people, right? It's like, oh, it's been 28 days since my last seminar. Fell off the wagon again. 2 weeks for her, right? Yes. So we're going to train you, and the people that work with Jeff and I, you've been to all the seminars, you've read all the books, you've trained in everything, you've been doing personal development work for maybe years, and you want to learn how to package this stuff up and turn it into products and services. Take all of your knowledge and expertise. You know, Jeff and I started in the seminar personal development world when we were 19 years old. I discovered Landmark, right? And I did some Landmark, and some of you know who that is. How many of you know what Landmark is? You know the company? Okay, great. And whatever your relationship is to that company, I don't care. But it was very big for me. It changed my perspective on what was possible. And by 23 years old, I was leading trainings for them while I was building my businesses. And by 28, 29 years old, I had done everything. Every other weekend, I'd been in a training. Hoffman, Avatar, NLP, Landmark, Est, you name it, we had done it. But we thought, why aren't we making money with it? So what we're going to do is teach you how to package up your stuff. Specifically, please write this down. There's 2 group experiences you want to learn how to leverage right now. It's workshops. So it's what? Workshops. Thank you. And it's masterminds or group coaching. Same word. How many of you have been part of a group coaching before? Okay. Masterminds are the highest amount of money you can make for your time in a group setting. People will pay up to people have paid up to $100,000 a year per person to be in a group setting. Imagine spending, a couple days a month with 5 or 10 of your coolest customers or people you really like that are paying you between $500 and $2,000 a month to be there in a 6-month mastermind. What would that be? 5 times 5 is $2,500 a month. If you had 5 of them, $5,000 if you had 10 of them, and if you had 20 of them, you're making $10,000 a month, meeting a couple times a month. Does that sound easy? We're going to show you how to package that up and actually sell it. The last one is one-on-one. So it's what? One-on-one. Thank you. You use this stuff to pump up your one-on-one rates so that they're at the highest they can be. How many, are customers good for business? Yes. Okay, how many customers do you want? Lots. A few? Lots? Actually, you want as many at the bottom as possible and as a few at the top. Because what's the most important thing? What's the most valuable thing? Exactly. If someone's going to take one-on-one time with me, they're going to pay me a lot of money. It's the same thing with you. I want you getting the same thing. If someone takes up your time, you have a very precious, finite resource. Let me ask you this. If I gave you $86,400 today, do you think you could spend it by the end of the day? How many think you could do that? Yeah. Yeah? The ladies are like, shoes, right? If I gave you 80 bills, right? Yep, pay off the credit card bills, no problem. If I gave you $86,400 every single day, do you think you could spend it by the end of every single day? Okay. Well, she's like, absolutely. Let's try it. We'll see how we go. Well, you get 86,400 seconds every single day, and the question is how are you spending them? How many of you know that if you hung out with a lot more millionaires, you'd make a lot more money? Yeah, because who do millionaires know? Millionaires. Yes, and what do millionaires discuss amongst each other? Yeah, millionaire stuff. Right? Like, what businesses can we be doing? Who can we be helping? You know, what's interesting, I know there's this thing, the tall poppy syndrome here in Australia. Anybody sick of that? Yeah. Just kind of done with it? Yeah. You know, what's funny is that most of the most successful people I've met in the world have one thing on their mind. Well, I should say, other than that, they have one thing on their mind. And what that is how they can help more people. So how many of you would love to be helping way more people this year? Because your messages can be going around the world helping people. All right, I'm going to skip over this gentleman real quickly. So this is Jeff, nobody important. Jeff grew up in Hawaii. His father was actually the founder of the company Odesk. Anybody know Odesk? Yeah, and so he grew up actually quite poor until he was about 10 or 12 years old, and then things quite changed. And when Jeff was 19 years old, he went to his first job. He was driving to his first job, and he realized he didn't want to work for anybody, so he ended up skipping work and going to the library. And he went and started reading about real estate. By 26, he was worth $15.5 million. He had an international magazine going on, and he was a punk. He was driving around in Porsches, flying around in private jets, buying, the penthouse suites at the Ivana Trump Towers in Vegas. And I had met him a couple years earlier because he started investing money for me in real estate. At 27, he invested in a sure thing. Anybody invested in a sure thing before? Yeah. And at 27 and a half, he was totally bankrupt. He lost $15.5 million, $60 million in portfolios. It was very, very difficult for him. And what he realized is that the universe had given him that gift. Because before he lost all that money, he realized he was just so focused on chasing money. And when he was broke on his floor in his apartment, wondering whether he should kill himself, he decided instead to go out and get a flip chart, write down everything that he loved to do. And he wrote down things like meditation and surfing and Bhagavad Gita and personal development, all this stuff. And since he had been making so much money, he'd been going to all these personal development trainings along the way. And he decided instead of killing himself that he would actually start giving trainings. And he realized that there was one message that was really, really deep inside of him. And this is the message that he's been sharing the last 3 years around the world with me, which is that you have a message, and it's time to get your message out there. So I want you to start to think about this. If you could be traveling the world or even just at home shooting videos, doing teleseminars, doing webinars, having group coaching programs, what would be your message to the world? What is your message? What do you want to say to people around the world to change their lives? Let's take 30 seconds and just jot this down right now. Go. What would you say? Soon. What's that?
Security through self-reliance.
Secure yourself to...
Security through self-reliance.
Secure your... I'm sorry, I'm just not hearing it.
Security through self-reliance.
Someone else
Self-reliance.
Security through self-reliance.
Yeah.
Thank you. Wonderful, wonderful message. Great. Good. You all got that? Please stand up and go meet someone you haven't met and just share your message with them. What is your message? Up and go share. Go.
How you going?
How we going?
Yeah.
What's the message?
My message is to help people focus on their goals and not get distracted.
Awesome.
So,
Focus.
Stuff going on with, I'm not quite there yet, but the way technology is going and all that sort of thing, and social media, it's just getting out of control. It's all about bringing back and the whole clarity thing, and it's about coming up with tools and stuff that can help them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Love it. Great. And yours?
My message is to help people. Life doesn't need to be complicated with their personal finances.
Okay, awesome.
There are ways to manage it, make better use of their time.
Great. Perfect.
To help people do that.
Awesome. And you can have tools and templates and all sorts of stuff to simplify out the financial world.
Yeah.
Small business owners. Do you have any products yet?
Sorry?
Do you have any products yet?
Yes.
You do. What do you have?
Online document storage.
Great.
Stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. Based for, I guess, people's personal finances rather than businesses.
I have a friend who was a venture capitalist who ran a thing called iForum. You should look up iForum.com. It was an online storage system that they grew. You take a look at how they've done it. Great. Very nice. Hi, Yanni.
So much. You just nailed it.
Great.
My message.
Awesome. What is it?
Have the power to change your life immediately.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. Thank you. All right. Give your partner a high five and say, "You're a rock star." Let's try it again. Give your partner a high five and say, "You are a rock star." And have a seat. And give me a big whoa, rock star. Here we go. Ready? Whoa, Rockstar. Oh, that was weak. Come on, everybody together. Here we go. Whoa, Rockstar. Awesome, thank you. Let's hear some messages. We had some over here. Will you share yours? Yep, all right, great. Stand up, give her a hand.
My name's Ebony. I'm from Group 9. I just wanted to be able to help people to focus and not get distracted with all the social media technology stuff that's going on in our world now and in future generations. I think it's really important that people don't lose focus, because I think being able to get better attention is one of the strongest skills that you can use with your brain. So
yes.
Yeah.
And so what's the message specifically, if you just zeroed it right in on the message? Like the 2 or 3
helping
words?
people to focus.
Great. Just focus. That's the message. You can focus. Or something like focus. Well, actually, what does focus create? What do people get when they focus? Great. Focus gives you better results. Cool. So she could create products and helping people focus. She could do some research and actually create systems to help people focus. She could go into businesses and actually help them focus on the most important things. How many of you would love to have better focus this year? Raise your hand if that were you. And how many of you would love to have somebody helping you stay accountable on your focus and your plan? Yes, she could create systems and templates for people to create their plan and focus. It could be a whole business. That message alone could take her around the world. Thank you very much. Give her a hand. Awesome. So speaking of taking her around the world, let's talk about how do we get this around the world.
Hi, I'm Roscoe Patterson from the sunny Gold Coast, and I'm the founder of thefameequation.com. What I do is help people become amazingly famous in their industry. And I was really struggling at using my system in a group environment and selling it from stage, until I met Jeff and Kane, of course. When I attended the Industry Rockstar Intensive, I applied one thing they said in the break, and I made $1,750. Following 3 weeks from the event, I've made $11,000, it's in the bank, and I'm looking forward to the $80,000 I have in projected income coming in the next 6 months. I'm really grateful for beating you both, and you guys are really, you have a place in my heart, so I just want to say thank you.
So what did he do? He made $12,500 within 3 weeks. How many of you would like that? Raise your hand and say, oh yeah! Great, so let's talk about what he did. He closed a consulting contract. In Rockstar Intensive, we're going to show you how to package up and create your consulting and coaching business. A high price one. How do you actually do that? We're going to show you how we've done it. Jeff and I have done 5 consulting and coaching practices that were all 7 figures within 12 months. We're just going to show you how we do that and give you our templates. Then he did $11,000 in tickets for an upcoming seminar. How many of you would love to sell, 3 weeks, would love to sell $11,000 in tickets to a training that you're giving? Cool, we're going to teach you how to do that too. But what I really want to focus on is what he said is this $80,000 within 6 months, this structure. So how many of you like to make money on Facebook? Raise your hands if that's you and say yes. As it turns out, you can't make money on Facebook. You can spend a lot of money on Facebook, and you can spend tons of time on Facebook, but you cannot actually make money on Facebook. In fact, please write this down. Facebook is dangerous, and I'll tell you why. Because the more you rely on Facebook to hold your likes, who owns the likes? Yes. Do you own your database? No. Jeff and I learned this. We had 6 companies on Facebook that had 150,000 likes each. We were doing $10,000 a week off of those. Facebook couldn't figure out how we were driving ads to them. We were just buying ads through Facebook. Scott Ruick, one of our business partners who we own an online company with, the guy at the beginning who said, I do $100 million in Facebook buying, he was just helping us do all these interesting things, and they decided to just shut it down because they couldn't figure out how we were actually doing those buying. Poof, we woke up one morning, our guys called us from the office, all of our sites are down. Well, what the heck? Call Facebook. Oh yeah, we couldn't figure it out, so we shut them down. Okay. So what we learned very quickly is we have to help you get that stuff off of Facebook and into a database. Into a what? Database. Great. So what we're going to show you in Rockstar Intensive is how do you actually personally brand your page to optimize it so people actually hit like. And there's many things on this page. For example, notice how many times he comes up as his actual personal brand. Write this down. You must have large pictures of yourself. Look at how large that picture is of him. Most people have their company logos or a little picture. The second thing is we're going to actually optimize your page so your video starts right at the top as soon as they come to your fan page. If your video starts right at the top, you get a 40% higher conversion. There's a lot of other subtle things on here like the arrows all pointing people. Please write this down. The #1 reason people don't sell stuff online is because the customer is not clear about what action to take. So the writer downer is be clear about the action. Then we're going to show you how do you actually pull your database off of Facebook and get people onto your database. Please write this down. You must be collecting mobile phone numbers. It is the next wave of marketing. Texting marketing is the next wave of marketing. It's already been going on in the US for a couple of years, but here it's not so big. It's starting to become bigger. I get texts from my cleaners, my dry cleaners, every Tuesday. He sends me these quotes, right? Last week he sent me this quote. I loved it. It was Steve Jobs, and it said, "If you live every day like your last, one day you'll be right." If you like your dry cleaning picked up tomorrow, be around at 9 a.m. I was like, this is great. I'll never go to anyone else because they're so cool about that. Okay, so we're going to talk about social media in Rockstar Intensive. How do you actually get, so listen, there's very few places you actually have to go. In our opinion, Google AdWords, keywords, they're dead, okay? And they've been dead for a long time. A lot of them are too expensive and they don't really work. And I've been in that game for 7 or 8 years now running. I owned a fund where I owned 24 different internet businesses. Where it's really at now to build your database is Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. And we're going to show you how those things come together and how you actually build the infrastructure to get your database going. After that, it's just acquire, nurture, and offer. It's what?
Acquire, nurture, and offer.
Yeah, it's very simple, guys. Okay, so here's a few people that we've helped do this. This gentleman came up to us in a seminar. He says, I've got this great idea. I want to go help African-American students who don't value themselves stay in school and feel their real value. He said, but everybody's laughed at me. They said there's no money in students. I said, all right, well, I'll take that on. We built him a site. He did what we taught him in Rockstar Intensive. He makes $600,000 a year now on this website doing this. Doesn't look very impressive, does it, this website? But it does exactly what it needs to do. We're going to show you how to optimize all your websites to do this. Lisa Sasovich does $2.5 million a weekend, leading training, selling group coaching and masterminds. And this is her site. Fearless Wealth, RC Peck. What I'm showing you is these are people that you don't even know that are making 6 and 7 figures with this business, and you could be doing the same thing. RC runs financial workshops. He does 7 figures a year. 2 years before we taught him this stuff, he was struggling. He was making about $100,000 a year with 2 kids. And then we taught him how to optimize all this stuff online and collect the database, nurture it, and offer it. And now he makes 7 figures a year just running some workshops each year. Brian Franklin, leadership trainer, one of my coaches, was a coach, didn't have an online presence, taught him all this stuff. Went out, now he does 7 figures a year leading leadership trainings. And then Kevin Nations, also, same online, does 7 figures a year, teaching people how to sell high-priced items. So, turn to your partner and say, what are all these people doing? And turn to your other partner and say, I want to know. Please write this down. They're using the 6 domains. How many? 6. Of an industry rock star.
Hi, I'm Melina Shamroth, and I'm the CEO of Mad Woman, which stands for Making a Difference. And I'm literally in the business of making a difference. We do so much to help people in our community who could really use support. And while we're really focused on making a difference, we sometimes weren't always focused on making a dollar. I met Jeff and Kane and started working with them on their Industry Rockstar Intensive, and it's been a complete turnaround for me. Not only have I been able to pick up some amazing tips and hints, but in just 2 nights of working with these guys, I made $30,000. In fact, recently we were named Australia's most socially responsible business in the Telstra Business Awards, so things are really looking up for us and all the people that we're out to help. Jeff and Kane have really gone above and beyond everything I ever expected out of going to a course, and it was just incredible for me. I went for 1 day, and it's now grown into working with them on a one-to-one basis for more than 6 months already, and I've had an incredible experience out of it. I would highly recommend to anyone who has a small, medium, or even large business to get on board with these guys. It really makes a difference, and it has to me.
And she goes on and on. Let's talk about what she did. $30,000 within 3 months of our training. How many of you would like to do that? Yeah. So here's what she did. She used the first 2 domains. How many? 2. She became a speaker and a seminar leader. In Industry Rockstar Intensive, we're going to show you how to package up your world so you could go out and become a keynote speaker. Just share your advice. How many of you know, how many of you know the gentleman named Chris Gardner? The movie Pursuit of Happiness. A man who was homeless and then he became a top stockbroker. Do you all have a good story about your life? Have you all made some mistakes? If you made a mistake, raise your hand. Good. Turn to your partner and say, I've made some mistakes. Yes. Turn to your other partner and say, I've made a lot of mistakes. Chris Gardner gets $60,000 to come talk about his life story. He steps on stage for 2 hours. He just says nothing about his life story. I started when I was 2 years old in a poor family. And that's it. For 2 hours he talks. He makes 60 grand. How many of you would like that? Yes. Well, people need keynotes. Businesses everywhere need keynotes. We're also going to train you in seminar leading. So let's jump forward. What we were doing with this is, you get, how many of you get that if you spend time with us, you're going to make a lot more money? Yeah? Raise your hand if you do. Yeah. Awesome, great. So this girl did some work with us on her consulting and coaching. She did $82,000 within 4 months, but let's just talk about what she did. She used the second 2 domains, which is consultant and coach. Consulting and coaching. So you want to start thinking, are you out there speaking? Are you leading trainings? Are you doing high-priced consulting? Are you coaching? What's the difference? How about if we teach you exactly how to package this all up and get out there and start doing this stuff with your advice?
Hi, I'm Imogen Lamport, founder of Bespoke Image, a Melbourne-based image consultancy, personal styling and retail training business. I recently attended Jeff and Kane's Industry Rockstar Intensive because I wanted to learn how to price, package and position my products and services more effectively. During the training, Jeff and Kane talked about pricing and promoting e-products. And one of the things I noticed was that my ebooks were a little bit cheaper than they suggested. So on the Sunday morning before the training, I went and sent an email to my list of 2,000 subscribers and just let them know there'd be a $7 price rise the following day. While sitting on my bum at Jeff and Kane, learning new strategies that I'd be able to implement in my business, I sold over 2,000 ebooks. So my return on investment has been fantastic, and in fact it's more than paid for itself. Jeff and Kane are so generous with their knowledge, their experiences and sharing everything they do. They tell you all the insider tips and tricks of what they're doing to help you grow your business. Thanks, Jeff and Kane.
Let's see what she did. So how many of you would love to sit on your bum and make $54,000? Yes. In all the right ways, of course. So we taught her how to actually do copy and actually get her. This is what we taught Nathan at the FES event. How do you actually get copy? How do you actually get your product out there and get it launched? Nathan did $1,000 because he didn't have as much of a structure already built as Imogen did. She sold $54,000 in, literally it took her 3 hours, 2,000 ebooks. We're going to show you how to create that structure and get these products out there. So when you come in, you actually build your products, and then we show you how to get them distributed. So she used the last 2 domains, which is being an author and an internet marketer. Turn to your partner and say, I get it. Turn to the other partner and say, I can do this. So, I want you to just take a moment and think about, just close your eyes for just a second for me. I just want you to think about why you're in business. Why do you do what you do? Imagine taking your message and sharing it, putting it into products, having it reach people all over the world. Now imagine one person, one specific person that really reaches and helps. And just imagine meeting them, hearing their story, and just step inside of their world for a minute. Where their life changed because of your advice. Why do you do what you do? Steve Jobs said it was never about the products. It was about the why. Who are you working so hard for? What will having all of that do for you? Is it for your family? Just get connected to that for just a moment. Who are you ready to help this year? If you could start playing a bigger game, a global game, and really reach the potential that you know that you have to help people. Are you ready for that? Okay, please open your eyes. So we're not going to share about this because this can sometimes be very personal for people. But is it all right if we share a little bit about why Jeff and I do this? Yes? Great.
When the lights go down, he'll be filling a pan with a broom in his hand in some dive across town. He'll be wiping the bar and mopping the floor, counting his tips and locking the doors, wrestling the devil that tells him to pour another round. When the lights go down and there's nothing left to be, when the lights go down and the truth is all you see, when you feel that hole inside your soul, you wonder what you're made of, well, we all find out when the lights go lights go down. At the end of the day, with this game that I play, it's gone another round. As I lay there alone in this big empty bed, nothing but thoughts of you in my head. I think of the things that I wish I had said when you were still around. When the lights go down, yeah, there's nothing left to be. When the lights go down and the truth is all you see, and I wonder if all my life's about the sum of all my fears and all my doubts. Yeah, when the lights go
How many of you would love to contribute to people like that around the world? If that's you, raise your hand and say yes.